An apple a day keeps the doctor away. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Since childhood, we've been told that fresh fruit is the ultimate health hack, a goldmine of vitamins and the secret to longevity. But today, I'm going to challenge everything you think you know. Did you know that after the age of 60, some of the most popular fruits turn into a ticking time bomb for your body? You buy them to stay healthy, but in reality, you might be shortening your life. Over 1,000 years ago, the legendary Persian physician Avicenna sounded the alarm on this very issue. He identified specific fruits that people of a venerable age should strictly avoid. And guess what? Modern medicine completely agrees with him. In this video, I'm going to reveal 4 fruits that can become toxic to your system after 60. You'll be shocked to find they're likely in your fridge right now. Before we continue, drop a comment and tell me, what fruit do you consider the healthiest? Let's see if you've been right or wrong all these years. To understand the scale of this problem, we need to go back a millennium. Avicenna, or Ibn Sina, was more than just a doctor. He was a visionary of human biology. His core principle was that every food has its own nature. It can be warming or cooling, hydrating or drying. Avicenna argued that as we age, our body's internal nature shifts. A young body is like a roaring furnace. It can process and burn through almost any food to extract energy. No, after 60, that internal digestive fire begins to fade. The body becomes cooler and drier. Modern gastroenterology confirms this in scientific terms. As we get older, our enzyme production drops, intestinal motility slows down, and the gut microbiome changes. What your body could digest in an hour at 20 might sit like a dead weight at 60, leading to fermentation and toxicity. That is why your diet must change fundamentally. And the first step is removing the foods that are putting out your digestive fire for good. Let's get one thing straight, right from the start. There's a massive myth being pushed by marketers and retailers that fruit is perfectly healthy for everyone, in any amount. But let's be honest. Most of the fruit sitting on supermarket shelves today has almost nothing in common with the wild plants our ancestors ate. It's the result of decades of selective breeding. The goal was simple: make it bigger, sweeter, and give it a longer shelf life. As a result, modern fruit can contain 10 times more fructose than nature ever intended. If you're young and have a fast metabolism, your body can process that sugar without much trouble. But once you're over 60, things change. Your pancreas can't keep working at full throttle, and your liver filters blood more slowly. Instead of being turned into energy, that heavy dose of fructose goes straight into fat storage, wrapping itself around your internal organs. This is what we call visceral fat, and it's a constant source of inflammation in the body. That's why the first step to staying healthy as you get older is realizing that sweet fruit is no longer your friend. It's a dessert, and it should be treated with extreme caution. And among these desserts, there are 4 specific fruits that do the most damage. First, let's talk about a hidden enemy that's likely sitting right on your kitchen table: sweet grapes. We've grown up seeing them as a healthy treat and a staple at every holiday feast. We're told they're packed with glucose to fuel the brain. But what really happens when grapes hit the digestive system of someone over 60? For many, it's a total disaster. Even the ancient physician Avicenna warned that sweet grapes could overheat the blood, paving the way for disease. Today, science gives us a very simple explanation. Grape skins are covered in wild yeast, while the inside is loaded with fast-absorbing sugar. When this combination reaches an aging, slower digestive tract, it triggers an intense fermentation process. Imagine a barrel of homemade wine left in a warm room. It bubbles, it foams, and it releases a massive amount of gas. That is exactly what starts happening inside your gut. You might enjoy just a small handful of grapes, but an hour later, you'll feel like your stomach has been inflated like a balloon. The trouble with grapes goes far beyond simple digestive discomfort. Let's look a little deeper. Bloating and gas aren't just unpleasant side effects. They cause the intestines to expand and put pressure on your internal organs. The diaphragm is usually the first to suffer. As it's pushed upward, it begins to crowd the heart and lungs. This is exactly why many seniors, after snacking on grapes while watching TV in the evening, wake up in the middle of the night with a racing heart or shortness of breath. They reach for blood pressure medication or even call an ambulance, never suspecting that a harmless handful of fruit was the real culprit. Furthermore, the fermentation process releases toxins that are absorbed right back into your bloodstream. By age 60, the liver isn't as efficient as it once was, and it's forced to waste enormous energy neutralizing these internal poisons. Instead of detoxifying your body, your liver is stuck fighting off the effects of your light snack. Even the ancient physician Avicenna warned that such foods drain your vital energy. If you want to maintain a sharp mind and a healthy heart, it's best to leave fresh grapes off your menu for good. If you've already celebrated your 60th birthday, there's another compelling reason to skip the grape aisle, and it has everything to do with your joints. Many people in this age group live with chronic pain in their knees, lower back, and hands, often dealing with diagnoses like arthritis or gout. While doctors are quick to prescribe creams and pills, few will tell you that sweet grapes are actually a powerful trigger for joint inflammation. Here's why. The high fructose content in grapes causes a sharp spike in uric acid as it breaks down in the body. For older adults, the kidneys often struggle to filter this acid out quickly enough. As a result, it crystallizes into microscopic, needle-like shards that settle deep within the joints. Suddenly, every movement becomes a source of agonizing pain. Even the ancient physician Avicenna recognized this, calling it bone aching, and strictly forbidding his patients from eating the sweet fruit of the vine. We see this happen even today. Someone might visit a health retreat specifically to treat their joints, yet the dining hall serves grapes every single day. In the end, the treatment provides no relief because the diet is working against the recovery. If you want to move freely and live without pain, it's time to say goodbye to this sweet fruit. Now let's move on to our second fruit, one that is surrounded by a surprising number of myths: the banana. Ask anyone why bananas are healthy, and they'll likely tell you they are packed with potassium, which is great for the heart. And that's true. However, there's a catch. For those over the age of 60, the potential risks can actually outweigh the benefits of that potassium. Let's look at how the ancient physician Avicenna described the effects of such fruits. He taught that heavy, dense foods create an excess of mucus in the body. This buildup clogs our internal pathways, slows down the flow of vital fluids, and leaves a person feeling sluggish. In the language of modern medicine, we are talking about blood viscosity, essentially the thickening of the blood. Bananas have a very high glycemic index and are loaded with starch. When you eat a ripe banana, your blood sugar spikes almost instantly. In response, the blood becomes thick and viscous, much like syrup. For an older person, whose arteries may have lost their natural elasticity or may have developed cholesterol plaques, this syrupy blood is a direct path to the formation of blood clots. When your blood thickens after eating bananas, it creates a massive health risk. Think of your heart as an engine. It's designed to pump fluid, not thick sludge. When your blood becomes too viscous, the strain on your heart muscle increases exponentially. This is exactly why cardiologists urge older adults to monitor their blood density. You can take the most expensive blood thinners on the market, but if you're eating a banana every day, you are essentially canceling out your treatment. Then there's the issue of mucus buildup, a phenomenon even ancient physicians like Avicenna warned about. This mucus accumulates in the respiratory tract and the digestive system. Many seniors struggle with a persistent morning cough, chronic congestion, or an unexplained heaviness in the chest that isn't actually related to a cold. More often than not, these are symptoms of excess mucus triggered by starchy foods. Bananas, especially overripe ones with dark spots on the peel, are a concentrated hit of sugar and starch that acts like glue inside your body. Far from being a light snack, they are a grueling physical challenge for every system in your body. But there's more to these yellow fruits than meets the eye. Let's take a look at how bananas actually affect your pancreas. When you're young, your pancreas handles glucose spikes with ease, pumping out exactly the right amount of insulin. But after 60, those vital reserves start to run low. Every time you eat a sweet banana, your pancreas receives an emergency signal and is forced to work at its absolute limit. This constant insulin roller coaster is a direct path to insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes. It's like whipping a tired horse to keep it running. Eventually, it's just going to collapse. Here is a perfect example. Many people love starting their day with a banana smoothie or adding one to their morning oatmeal, thinking it's the ultimate healthy breakfast. In reality, they are dealing a heavy blow to their pancreas first thing in the morning. Their blood sugar skyrockets, only to crash just as quickly. That's why, only a couple of hours later, you're hit with intense hunger and a sudden lack of energy. A banana doesn't provide lasting fuel. It only creates the illusion of energy while quietly draining your body's internal reserves. Since we're on the subject of breakfast bowls and smoothies, we have to talk about a critical mistake that almost everyone makes: combining bananas with dairy. If you're used to slicing a banana into your cottage cheese, mixing it with yogurt, or cooking your morning oats in milk with a banana on top, you need to listen very carefully. Centuries ago, the great physician Avicenna warned against mixing foods that require different digestion times and conditions. On its own, a banana is already quite heavy to digest. But when you combine it with the animal protein found in milk or cheese, it turns into a thick, sticky mass in your stomach. This sludge doesn't digest properly. Instead, it coats the walls of your intestines, blocking the absorption of nutrients from your other food and triggering fermentation. Instead of getting the health benefits you expect, you end up with a toxic buildup that poisons your system from the inside out. Constipation, a constant feeling of heaviness, bloating, and even bad breath are the direct results of this one dietary habit. If you really love bananas and aren't ready to give them up, make sure to eat them strictly on their own, separate from any other food. However, it's often better to swap them for something a bit more gut-friendly, especially as we get older. The third fruit on our list is a true Trojan horse, the grapefruit. It's widely celebrated for helping with weight loss, lowering cholesterol, and being packed with vitamin C. But there is one massive catch. Grapefruit is dangerously incompatible with many of the medications commonly prescribed to people over 60. This isn't just an internet myth. It's a proven medical fact that many doctors unfortunately fail to mention. The problem lies in compounds called furanocoumarins, which are found in both the juice and the pulp. These substances block a vital enzyme in your liver responsible for breaking down medications and clearing toxins. When this enzyme is disabled, the medicine you take isn't processed properly. Instead, it begins to accumulate in your bloodstream at toxic levels. You might think you're taking a standard dose, but in reality, you could be facing a life-threatening overdose. Let's look at a real-world example to show you just how serious this is. Imagine you're taking medication for blood pressure or a heart rhythm disorder, something many people over 60 do every single day. One morning you decide to have a glass of fresh grapefruit juice or half a grapefruit with your breakfast. Here's the problem. Certain compounds in grapefruit essentially block the enzymes in your liver. When you take your usual pill, your body can't break it down properly. As a result, the concentration of the drug in your bloodstream can skyrocket to 3 or even 5 times the intended dose. This can cause your blood pressure to plummet to dangerously low levels, leading to severe dizziness, fainting, or even heart failure. The same risk applies to statins used for cholesterol. Mixing them with grapefruit can lead to rapid muscle breakdown and kidney failure. This isn't just a minor side effect. It's a life-threatening danger. There are dozens of medications that are completely incompatible with this fruit. Risking your life just for a bit of vitamin C is a gamble that an aging body simply cannot afford to take. It's fascinating that centuries ago, long before we understood the chemical makeup of grapefruit or modern pharmaceuticals, the great physician Avicenna also warned the elderly against overly acidic fruits. In his writings, he noted that excessive acidity could damage nerve endings and weaken the digestive system. He believed that sour flavors cool the body, a significant concern for seniors who naturally lose metabolic heat as they age. Avicenna observed that frequent consumption of acidic citrus could lead to muscle spasms and worsen the joint pain we've already discussed. Modern medicine confirms his intuition. We now know that excess acid irritates the stomach and intestinal linings, which tend to thin over time. If you're prone to gastritis, heartburn, or ulcers, grapefruit can trigger a severe flare-up, as its acidity erodes the stomach's protective layer, leading to pain and inflammation. If you are older or have a sensitive stomach, it's best to leave grapefruit to the young and healthy. To get your daily dose of vitamin C, opt for gentler sources like rosehip tea or sweet bell peppers. These alternatives provide all the benefits you need without causing irritation or interfering with your medications. Next on our list is the fourth fruit, one many consider perfectly harmless and even a great diet food, the sweet pear. It's hard to imagine anything wrong with a soft, juicy pear, right? No, don't be so quick to judge. The legendary physician Avicenna famously called the pear a heavy stone for the stomach. He warned that eating it on an empty stomach, or washing it down with cold water, could lead to severe cramping and digestive pain, and his observations were spot on. So, what makes the pear particularly risky for those over 60? It all comes down to the unique structure of its flesh. If you pay close attention when eating a pear, you'll notice tiny, gritty granules. These are known as stone cells, or sclerides. They are made of a very tough fiber that is almost completely resistant to digestive juices. While a young, active digestive system can use these granules like a brush to clean out the gut, for an aging digestive tract, it becomes an exhausting ordeal. As we get older, our intestinal walls naturally become thinner and lose their elasticity. Peristalsis, the wave-like muscle contractions that move food through our system, tends to weaken. This is why many seniors develop diverticulosis, a condition where small, pouch-like bulges form in the lining of the colon. Now imagine the tough, gritty fiber from a pear entering such a sluggish digestive tract. This fiber isn't easily digested. Instead, it travels through the gut, scratching the delicate lining along the way. These hard particles can get trapped in those small pouches, causing inflammation and even infection, a serious situation that often requires emergency surgery. Beyond that, pears, much like grapes, ferment very easily. When you combine indigestible fiber with fermenting sugars, it can lead to severe bloating, painful gas, and chronic constipation. It's exactly what ancient physicians were referring to when they described it as a heavy stone in the stomach. For the elderly, a raw pear can be far too coarse, causing micro-trauma to the body from the inside out. Does this mean you have to give up pears for good? Not at all. Avicenna was a brilliant physician who understood that strict prohibitions rarely work. Instead, he offered a simple yet genius solution to neutralize the fruit's potential downsides. If you're craving a pear, the secret is to cook it. The great healer suggested poaching pears in a honey syrup, or slow-baking them with warm spices like cinnamon. But what's actually happening here from a scientific perspective? When heated, those tough, gritty stone cells found in pears begin to soften. The fiber structure changes, becoming tender and much easier to process. Additionally, the harsh fruit acids that can irritate a sensitive stomach are partially broken down. Unlike its raw counterpart, a baked pear becomes a true dietary staple. It's easy to digest, it gently soothes the stomach lining, and it won't cause discomfort in the gut. This is a golden rule for many fruits, especially as we age. By applying heat, we make the food more compatible with our nature, helping the digestive system do its job without any unnecessary strain. While we're on the subject of fresh fruit, I need to debunk a dangerous myth that is ruining the health of millions. It's the myth of fruit juice. Many people think, if I can't handle the fiber from whole fruit, I'll just juice it. That is a massive mistake. Fruit juice, whether it's fresh squeezed or store-bought, is one of the worst things you can put into your body, especially after age 60. When you drink a glass of apple or orange juice, you are sending a flood of liquid fructose into your system, completely stripped of the fiber that usually slows it down. This is a massive sugar spike that hits your bloodstream almost instantly. Your pancreas takes a shock that it might not recover from for days, and your insulin levels go through the roof. Think about it. To get one glass of juice, you have to squeeze 3 or 4 large fruits. You'd never eat that many in one sitting, but drinking them is easy. These juices damage your liver, lead to internal organ fat, and are a direct path to diabetes. Forget the juice. It's essentially pure poison. This raises a natural question. If grapes cause bloating, bananas affect blood thickness, grapefruit interferes with medication, and pears are too harsh on the gut, what is left to eat? Does getting older mean giving up the simple joy of delicious food? Not at all. Nature has provided us with some incredible alternatives. The golden rule for anyone over 60 is simple. Prioritize berries. Blueberries, currants, raspberries, and cranberries are your best friends. They contain significantly less sugar than larger fruits, yet they are absolute powerhouses of antioxidants, the essential compounds that fight cellular aging. Unlike heavy fruits, berries are easy on the digestion and support both your vision and cardiovascular health. A small handful, whether fresh or frozen, is the perfect nutrient-packed dessert. Your second safe alternative is baked apples. When apples are baked, they release high levels of pectin, a gentle, soluble fiber. Pectin acts like a soft sponge in your digestive tract, soaking up toxins and excess cholesterol before naturally flushing them out. A warm, baked apple is truly a soothing balm for the digestive system as we age. And finally, I'd like to share a timeless piece of wisdom passed down to us by the great physician Avicenna. When it comes to your health, it's not just about what you eat, but when you eat it. In our modern world, we've grown used to serving fruit as a dessert at the end of a heavy meal. Even worse, many people snack on an apple or a bowl of grapes late at night while watching TV, thinking they're choosing a light alternative to dinner. Both of these habits are a major mistake. Here's why. If you eat fruit right after a heavy meal of meat and potatoes, it sits right on top of that dense food bolus. While meat takes hours to break down, fruit is meant to be digested quickly. When it's trapped in the warmth of your stomach behind a wall of heavy food, it begins to ferment and sour, essentially spoiling the rest of your meal. When you eat fruit late at night, you're forcing your digestive system to work at the very time it's supposed to be resting and recovering. Since you aren't burning off that sugar, it simply ends up being stored as fat. The golden rule is this: the best time for fruit or berries is in the first half of the day, specifically as a standalone snack between breakfast and lunch. That is the only way to ensure they truly nourish your body rather than weigh it down. Let's wrap up what we've learned today about how your body changes over time. Turning 60 is a wonderful milestone, a time of maturity and deep wisdom, but that wisdom should also extend to how you treat your body. You can't keep eating the same way you did in your 20s. Your body has essentially reset its internal settings. It simply doesn't need those heavy loads of fast carbs anymore. Your digestive enzymes require a gentler touch, and your joints and blood vessels need extra protection from inflammation. Moving away from these 4 problem fruits, grapes, bananas, grapefruit, and raw pears, isn't just a diet. It's an act of self-care. It is a conscious choice to enjoy a long life free from chronic pain and endless medication. Try swapping them for baked fruits and wild berries. Also avoid mixing foods that don't belong together. You'll be amazed at how quickly your body responds. That constant bloating will vanish. Your digestion will regularize. Your legs will feel lighter, and your blood pressure will finally stabilize. As we get older, our health is often defined by what we choose not to eat. Clearing these hidden triggers from your table is the simplest and most effective thing you can do for your well-being, starting right now. That's quite a surprise, isn't it? Foods we've spent a lifetime viewing as symbols of health can actually be hidden threats to an aging body. We've discovered that sweet grapes can trigger harmful fermentation and wear down your joints. Innocent-looking bananas can thicken your blood and strain your pancreas. Even the healthy grapefruit can cause a dangerous, even fatal interaction with your blood pressure medication. And those firm, crunchy pears, they might lead to serious intestinal inflammation. The great Avicenna was right. As we get older, we need to change more than just our mindset. We need to change what's on our plate. Switching to soft, cooked fruits and berries is the secret to keeping your digestion running like clockwork and your energy levels high, well into your golden years. Thank you so much for watching. If this information gave you a new perspective on your diet, please subscribe to the channel and give this video a like. Share this with your friends and family. You might just save them from some serious health issues. And now, as promised, a question for you. Which of these 4 fruits would be the hardest for you to give up? Let us know in the comments, and let's start a conversation.